So you want to become a ninja and you're thinking about taking AP Calculus, or maybe you've taken one semester of it, and you're wondering, how can I train in the best possible way for calculus? Well, I'm going to start by explaining in this diagram right here, first of all, the problem with you being in this spot right here and what not to do. And then I'm going to tell you in this video what you should do to become a ninja. And before I get into all of this, let me introduce myself. So I'm Dave, and I used to tutor students like you back in college. We used to have a calculus, pre-calculus tutoring session at the Engineering Tutoring Center, where I was one of the tutors. I used to run the center itself. And now I am a software engineer, so I get to make really fun apps. I actually made a math ninja game for iPhone and iPad you can check out below. But let me get back into why you came to this video. The first thing you want to make sure you're not doing, and this is going to block you from becoming a math ninja, is when you look at this diagram, and bear with me, I'm not the best drawer. If this is school, whether it's college for you or whether it's high school, if you're starting college in your first semester, let me know in the comments below, because that's super exciting. And I'm actually interested, by the way, which of you are also becoming software engineers like I did, because we had to take calculus. If this is your teacher right here, and you got all these students in your class, and this is you right here, just looking at this diagram, it doesn't look like a big deal, right? It looks like a typical group of students and a teacher. But what you probably don't notice here is there's actually a problem. See, we are social by nature, okay? When you're in class, you're going to be answering questions from the teacher. You might talk to other students. And then this is you walking out of class. You might go grab lunch, hang out with some other friends, maybe go back over to class and you're taking another maybe statistics class or chemistry, rinse and repeat. You have a break between class, you're hanging out with more friends. And then after school is done, many of you will go and hang out. And you're going to go catch a movie, you're going to go grab coffee with friends. Maybe you're going to play some chess like I used to always play. And social stuff is fun. But here's another thing I want to point out. See, when I was in college, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have Instagram, we didn't have Facebook. And not only do you have the social aspect of school here and how that can be a trap, but we also now are in a time where you've got the most distractions in the palm of your hand in the history of mankind, okay? So you got to be very careful, because these can prevent you from becoming this awesome ninja at calculus. So the issue here is, if you are doing what everybody else is doing after school, you're just immediately going to party or finding yourself in distractions that you shouldn't be, or going to get a bite to eat with friends, you're eating really bad food and you've got this brain fog because you just can't study anymore because you're just loaded up on sugar and waffles and pancakes, and it's going to make it really tough to be successful at calculus. So the number one thing I want you to focus on for what not to do is, don't be another what? Another person in the herd, okay? I want you to be a different student. I want you to stand out, not to prove anything to anybody or to impress anybody, but stand out for you, so you can do better than a C or C plus. Your goal and the standard, in my personal opinion, shouldn't be, oh, I'm good if I don't fail calculus. Let's go for an A or a B. That's why you're watching my videos, because I already can tell you're not a student that wants to be mediocre, okay? It's really good to aspire to do great things in life. And your calculus class is just the beginning, because you're going to be starting your life in high school, or whether it's college and you're trying to find a career. But before I tell you what to do, these are the things you want to avoid. You don't want to be caught up in what the crowd is doing, because most people are going to be setting themselves up for failure, not taking care of their body, their health, getting caught up in social aspects outside of school and a lot of distractions. And then now you're finding yourself cramming for an exam when you could have done the preparation that others weren't doing because you were so distracted. Now you're going to be getting a failing grade. The other thing you don't want to do is don't just rely on your teacher, okay? Your teacher here is not the key to your success. Now, don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying you can't have a good teacher. My high school calculus teacher was one of the best teachers I've ever had in my life. But it's not up to your teacher to do your homework. It's not up to your teacher to create discipline when you're not in class. So make sure you're not relying solely on your teacher. And the reason why I'm saying this too is if you listen to the crowd, all these other students, I bet you if you put 9 of them in a room, 7 of them easily are going to say, I didn't do well in calculus because I couldn't understand my teacher. My teacher didn't understand the math. They didn't do a good job explaining. And I'm here to say that yes, sometimes that can make it harder, okay? But this is where I'm going to get into it in a little bit about how you can be a master of your own craft. Number 3, on what not to do. Don't rely on just the homework. This is not going to be enough, okay? So if you're just given 10 problems to do tonight for your homework and you only do those 10, I'm pretty confident you are not going to aspire for excellence in calculus. Because it's like riding a bike. How did you learn how to ride a bike when you were a kid? You tried getting on, you fell, you tried it again, you fell. You practiced this for days, weeks, because you knew you could do it, right? And I want you to have that mindset with calculus as well. It might be boring to you in the beginning. And if you're anything like me, when we don't understand something, we tend to say we don't like it. But then once you start understanding it, it really helps. So if you're given 10 problems to do for the evening, do 20. If you have class on Tuesday, Thursday, do extra problems Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Because when it comes to your AP calculus test, you want to make sure that you've done so much preparation, it's like breathing. And this is where I'm going to start the list of how to become a ninja at math and how to really crush your AP calculus test like a true ninja. Okay, so you might be wondering now, what do I do to be a ninja? And where did you go over here? Because I just erased you out of nowhere, right? Well, number 1, for what to do for ninja mastery of calculus, the first thing I want you to do for true excellence, I want you to be over here. See the crowd where all the students are, the 99%, they're over here doing their own thing. I want you to be over here. And what do I mean? I don't mean you shut people out completely in life. I don't mean don't be social in any way. What I do mean is you need to, however, separate yourself and have your head down. When I was in school, in between classes, I was doing one or two things. I was either prioritizing taking care of my health, but then I was also studying in the library. So here, leading class going. One of my favorite things is kind of nerdy. I don't know if any of you have ever played, but there was a game, Dance Dance Revolution, back in the day that was super popular. And yes, it's a video game, but it's a very, very physical game, especially with the level a bunch of us were playing at. So it was just a really good and healthy way to just clear out all the mental fog of being in class all day. But then also I would go over to the library at my college, and we had a couple actually. We had a library here. I liked to move around a lot, so I could be studying here for maybe a half hour, and then I would move to this library. Sometimes I would move outside, sit on the patio, maybe get a bite to eat here at, let's just say it was some burger place. And I'm taking my coursework with me. So number 2, to go to that point, is this needs to be part of your life. That calculus book should not be put down when you leave class and only popped up open again right before something is due or right before your exam when you're trying to cram, okay? This needs to be part of your life. This is not an algebra class or a trig class where you can just get away with winging it. I was guilty of this in junior high and high school, where math always came natural to me until it no longer did, because the next class was a step up in difficulty where I had to put in the extra work. Okay. Number 3, build that muscle memory. It's the summer right now. Okay. You don't have to wait until your semester to start. You can start doing the work now, because now that you have YouTube, something I didn't have, it's truly a gift for you students right now, because you have these free tools that people like myself have spent time creating just for you, where you can watch them, start doing practice problems now. Because here's the thing, if you think about your semester and you wait until then, yeah, you can do it, you can put in the extra work, but sometimes life will happen, right? You'll be thrown a curveball, you end up with a bad teacher, or maybe something in your personal life happens and you're pulled away from school. Imagine if you get a head start now, there's no pressure. You're making your own schedule. And so making your own schedule and mastering your craft, it also ties back into not relying on your teacher, right? Because at the end of the day, you need to show up in your success, and nobody can provide that for you. Teachers or YouTubers like myself, we can plant the seeds, but you ultimately have to do something with it. And I talk more about this in another video that I just did that you can check out by clicking on your screen now too.